Good morning, boys and girls. Happy Monday. Do you remember on Friday when we read The Pigeon Finds a Hot Dog? And we talked about characters in the story. Do you remember the two characters in there? Yeah, one was the pigeon, right? And who was the other one? The duckling. Good job. Now, those characters were the pigeon and the duckling. And what makes them a character in the story was they think, they feel, and they act, right? Was the hot dog a character in the story? You know, the pigeon was talking about he found a hot dog, the duckling wanted to eat the hot dog was like on every page. But was it a character? What do you think? No, it wasn't a character. The hot dog did not think, the hot dog did not feel, the hot dog did not act, the hot dog did not dance, the hot dog did not talk. It was just a thing in the story. But the characters were talking about it, right? The pigeon and the duckling were talking about it on every page. Characters can be people and animals and things only if they think or they feel or they act or they talk. Now, in Miss Bavona's writing lessons last week, you were drawing characters in your story, but you were also drawing where those characters were. And that's what I want to talk about today, the setting. The word setting, say it with me, setting. The word setting is where your story takes place. You drew pictures of a fall scene, and that setting was the story took place outside. You also drew a park, right, where you were on the playground. The setting of your story was you were outside at a park. I know on Friday then you drew, kind of was a fun Friday where you were wherever you wanted to. Some of my students, they drew themselves inside, in their house, that was their setting, in their house playing video games. I drew myself at the beach, so the setting was where I was at the beach. Okay, so today when we read a story, we're going to talk about the characters, who they are. Who are those characters? They think, they feel, and they act. And I also want you to help me find out, where does the story take place? What is the setting? I'm going to read a story today called Bad Apple. And I wanted to read apples because I'm in Mrs. Heller's slide for science. You're going to learn more about apples and the non-fiction side of apples. I want to read you the fiction, which means a fake story, but it's still a good story about this guy, a bad apple, a tale of a friendship. Now I'm looking at this page right here. Oh, before I forget, the story is by Edward Hemingway. There's only one name, so my guess is what I'm assuming is Edward wrote the pictures. He wrote the words and he drew the pictures. He drew those nice illustrations. So on this page right here on the cover, I may be thinking, I wonder if this apple and this worm are our characters, our most important characters in our story, our main characters. And looking at the background and all those great details, that big word that Miss Bavona's been teaching us, details, it looks like maybe they're outside. Looks like a lake of some sort, but it looks like they're outside. Awesome. So let's find out what happens. I'm going to turn my computer so you can see it a little bit better. Mac was a good apple. He shared his toys with other apples, helped Granny Smith pick up after art class, and loved to dive fearlessly into the watering hole. On a sunny day, Mac could bob for apples, and he could bob for hours. On cloudy days, Mac would search for the perfect pillow of green grass and take a long nap. In his dreams, it was always sunny, but one day as Mac lay sleeping, it began to rain. Now, looking at these pictures so far, one, where do you think the story takes place? Where's our setting? Is it in a school? No. Is it in a movie theater? No. Where is it? Right, it's outside. And our character right here, our first one, is Mac. He's an apple. That's okay, because he's thinking, he's feeling, he's acting, he's walking, he's dreaming. So on that rainy day, soon all the little creatures in the earth around him poked their heads out to look for higher ground. Some of them found safety under the large toadstools. Others crawled into stones and pebbles, but one small worm had another idea. When Mac woke up, he was covered in raindrops, and he wasn't alone. You won't believe the dream I just had. A funny little worm was tickling me right here. And now I can't seem to get him out of your head. Hey, wait a second, it was you. And that's how Mac met Will the worm. All right, here we go. That's right. Here's our two characters. Okay, we got Mac and we got Will the worm. Will showed Mac how to fly a kite, fly himself, and play in the dirt. He loved making a mess. Of course, he's a worm. He likes the dirt. Mac took his new friend to the watering hole to clean off. He couldn't remember a better day until he took Will to the orchard. Look at Mac. He's got worms. Mac's a rotten apple. I'm not rotten. He's quite sweet, actually. So they left. Uh-oh. If you think about it, I don't know if you remember our Good News, Bad News book with, remember, the rabbit and the rat? Right on the front page, there was an apple and there was a worm sticking out of it. Usually when you take a bite of an apple or you find an apple and it's brown or it's got a worm in it, it's not a good apple. You don't want to eat that. But that's what these other apples are. They're making fun of Mac, right? All these characters here are making fun of our most important character, Mac, right here. And Will's trying to defend him. Oh, and the setting, where are they? Yeah, they're still outside. They said they were at an orchard. An orchard's kind of like an apple farm right there with all these apples, apple trees. But so they're outside. Will cheered Mac up by reading aloud from some of his favorite books. He was a bit of a bookworm. Mac liked the adventure stories best. He also liked it when Will finished his sentences for him. The most exciting part is when the pirates find treasure in the dirt. But the next day, it happened again. Ha ha, it's the bad apple. Ew, worms. Oh no, those other characters are making fun of him again because he's got a worm. And no one in the orchard would play with him. Not even the crab apples. Bad apple, bad apple. Crab apples can be mean. That night, the two friends sat alone on the grass without saying a word. In the morning, Will was nowhere to be found, but he drew a picture here. You are a good apple. There he is, and then he kind of drew himself slithering away. Mac went back to playing with his orchard friends. Oh, there's a yellow apple. Diving fearlessly into the water hole and painting in Granny Smith's class. But nothing was the same. Now our character right here, our main character Mac, he's kind of feeling sad. Why is he feeling a little bit sad right now? Yeah, that's right. Will left him. His friend the worm, Will, left. There was a hole in Mac that he just couldn't fill. Not a big hole, just a teeny tiny little, a small hole just big enough to fit. And nobody was there to finish his sentences. Now he's dreaming that he wishes the worm, Will, was there, but he's not really there. Mac had to find Will. He searched low and high and in between, in the dirt, around the watering hole, and just when he had given up all hope, he looked up in the sky. In our picture here, and all these details. Wow, they're so beautiful. I could almost look. I wonder if I'm looking at the details here, I wonder if the setting is, it's outside, but wonder when? I'm thinking maybe it's at sunset with all those pretty pictures. All those pretty colors. There's a kite flying right here. Good detail. Let's see. There's no words on this picture. There's no words at all. We just look at the details. Who did Mac find again? Will, the other main character, the other most important character. And look, he's reading all his books that he likes to do. Mac knew he'd rather be a bad apple with Will than a sad apple without him. I was hoping I could help me turn the pages? How did you know? Because you will always be a good apple in my book. Good and happy, and there's nothing bad about that. There they are. I loved reading that story. Our two main characters, right? They realized their friendship was more important than what other people thought about them. And do you remember where the setting was? Where did that story take place mostly? Outside, right. It was at an orchard. It was near a river or a lake. It was on top. It almost looked like they were on top of, maybe on top of some sort of hill with the mountains in the background, right? And I also wanted you to see, did you notice all the different types of apples in there? There was yellow ones and green ones and red ones and small ones. We're going to get to learn more about apples this week with Miss Heller, okay? All right, so today when you are reading, if you have any book at home, any books at all, or if you're in school and you have some books, try to get to know your characters in your story, and then try to figure out where's your setting. Where does your story take place? Is it outside or inside? Okay? Hope you have a wonderful day. Tomorrow we're going to talk more about characters and we're going to predict with them. A big word called predicting. All right. Bye, boys and girls.